Today, I want to talk about the hero's journey because it is a momentous occasion. I hit 1,200 days abstinent. And the hero's journey is perfect for this situation because we all have a favorite hero. Mine happens to be Spider-Man. I'll talk about why in another video. But the hero's journey begins with a call to adventure that the hero kind of resists at first. And my call to adventure was to create a container for my inner chaos so that I could turn it to inner calm. Now, that was a threshold stopping me from doing that, which was my fears. Fears is just false emotion appearing real, right? A fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection, a fear of intimacy, a fear of overwhelm, a fear of inadequacy, a fear of self-worth, a fear of police, a fear of death, you name it, I've experienced it. The divine said, Marcus, handle that. And so I chose to become abstinent, to combat all of that. And through my abstinence, I dealt with a lot of challenges and temptations, such as social media, low vibrational connections with women that I found very pretty but weren't worth my time. I've also dealt with porn, I've also dealt with people around me just being in relationships and having fun and experiencing the good times. But I had to stay on my path for a very specific reason. I had a lot of helpers and mentors along the way that kept me on my path as well. And you know exactly who you are, and I appreciate you, right? After those challenges and temptations, I went into the abyss, right? Where there's a revelation, there's a death and a rebirth. It was the death of my old self, my anxious self, that dealt with all the fears. And there was the rebirth of my new self, my higher self, who understood that those fears was needed. All those ups and downs was needed. All those times where the situations didn't go right when I needed it to was needed, because it's all a part of the dance, right? And after that abyss came my transformation, right? And my transformation, I like to say, is being half human and half cosmic. My human self is my chaotic self. My cosmic self is my calm self. And it's often split, right? That's why my call to adventure was to create a container for when my human self, inner chaos, becomes too much, right? And so I tap into that transformation. Sometimes I'm fully human, sometimes I'm fully cosmic, sometimes I'm fully split, right? But now that I have inside awareness and understanding of that, it's a lot easier to handle. Just like Spider-Man, when he got the hang of learning how to use his powers. Because with great power comes what? Great responsibility, right? And so, moving right along, after that transformation came an atonement phase. Atonement meaning I had to forgive the past versions of myself and all the mistakes that they made, because they only did what they knew was best at the time, right? Not only that, I had to forgive other people as well, right? And I had to take accountability and apologize to people as well that I've hurt along the way, because I ruined a lot of good connections that I've had with people because of lust, right? It was the abstinence that allowed me to see that. And so after that atonement, I returned back to the known, the real world, where I now have the elixir of life. Sacred SouLutions, a holistic healing ecosystem that I created, where science meets soul. Science being how we understand reality, soul being how we experience reality. And I created it because of the belief that a lot of people are stuck in a prison of survival when we were born to be creatively free. How I teach people how to unlock themselves and free themselves from their prison is through the way of alchemy. But before you can learn alchemy, you have to understand the compartments of the soul. You have your soul identity, which is who you are. You have your soul DNA, which is what you are. And you have a soul purpose, which is why you are. Your soul identity is held by the child self. which represents your heart, which represents emotion. Your soul DNA is held by the adult self, which represents your body, which represents energy. And your soul purpose is held by the higher self, which represents your thoughts, which represents the frequency you operate in, right? Now, going back to the child self, who you are, which was the whole start of my journey, which is why I'm a child self fanatic now. He shows up when he wants validation and reassurance, right? And I give him that by constantly channeling, feeling, and transmuting my emotion into sound through music. I created a neural archetype called the neural artist, right? To protect my child self. And for my 1200-day abstinence, I'm dropping a single tomorrow called Slow That Wine. Very much Afro beats, very much summertime, very much representing the solar plexus. And learning that superpower, me and the child self, is like that, right? Because the emotion is not stuck in my heart no more. Same thing with the adult self, with the body. Energy gets stuck in the body. And so I feel, I channel, and I transmute that energy into MMA, training, etc. And with the higher self, right, what I do is I feel and I channel and I transmute my thoughts in the frequency through meditation. Now, going back to the body for a second, I created the neural archetype of the neural athlete, because even outside of MMA, I play basketball. That's moving the energy, right? Going back to the higher self, I have the neural archetype of the neural architect, which builds Sacred SouLution for when thoughts get chaotic, right? And so if you stayed for this video of 7 minutes and about 30 seconds, I appreciate it. And what I want to offer to you is booking a free immersion session where we can begin your hero's journey and we decide which doorway to alchemy will best benefit you, whether it be emotional alchemy, energetic alchemy, or neural alchemy. I hope to see you there. Once again, single dropping tomorrow, Slow That Wine. If you stayed this long, thank you and have a blessed day. Do too much signing out.